Hello and welcome to Science Research Weekly, Season 5, Episode 3, Cave Robots in Space. Get ready for endoplasmic reticulum remodeling, marine bacteria streamlining shortcomings, robotic run-throughs of space cave explorations, non-exponential growth in AI, viral protein immune escape pathways and constraints, the top 40 new CRAN packages from December 2025, and pilot projects from the NIH on using common fund data sets. This material covers from January 30th to February 5th. Let's get started with some research articles. First up here is ER remodeling is a feature of aging and depends on ER-phagy. So looking at the endoplasmic reticulum, one of those organelles you probably learned in high school biology and probably never thought of again. So it's interesting, yeah, to see it up again doing things. It looks like, yeah, it deals with remodeling, deals with aging. And I was particularly interested because it looks like there's different models they looked at, including yeast, nematodes, and mammals. So, there we go. Continuing on the sort of microbial view of things, we have our next article, cell cycle dysregulation of globally important SAR11 bacteria resulting from environmental perturbation. So SAR11 clade, those are bacteria that are really abundant in marine waters. And one of the reasons they're so successful in these sort of low nutrient environments is they streamline their genomes. However, it looks like there's a trade-off because when there is more nutrients, they actually don't do as well. So that's kind of interesting, the trade-offs between sort of adapting for what would be called oligotrophic conditions. When those leave, they're not as well situated to take advantage of the nutrients. All right, we'll switch over to our next one. Cooperative robotic exploration of a planetary skylight surface and lava tube. I think this comes out of Spain. Essentially a trial run of, a lava cave on Lanzarote Island in Spain, using robots to explore, make a model of it to sort of mimic what might be done on Mars or the moon, sort of finding lava tubes to set up, not colonies, but set up bases, sort of protected from the environment. All right, that is all of our normal articles. We'll dive into our preprints, starting with archive. One I found here was protein autoregressive modeling via multiscale structure generation. So using, be able to use this, PAR, protein autoregressive modeling, to try to generate protein structures. Another one is interesting, more on the astrophysics side of things, looking at primordial black holes as cosmic accelerators of light dark matter, novel direct detection constraints. So looking at light dark matter. So I think light being the weight and the dark matter being dark matter. That might be of interest. I think the most interesting one I saw here was, are AI capabilities increasing exponentially? A competing hypothesis, and there are competing hypotheses that in fact AI capabilities are not increasing exponentially. It's more of like a sigmoidal curve fit rather than an exponential curve fit, and they go through all sorts of kind of back and forth, and for those just listening, a bunch of comparisons of projections across different setups. So I thought that was really interesting. All right, switching over to the bioarchive, we have 3. The first one is habitat fragmentation controls bacterial community composition outcomes. So kind of the name is in the title there. They looked at sort of artificial bacterial soil communities, and they fragmented into droplets and looked at how those communities formed and developed. And fragmentation really did strongly affect the final outcome of those communities. Then there is the article, Constrained Evolutionary Funnels Shape Viral Immune Escape. So viruses try to escape the immune system by adapting, by modifying, but there's only certain ways they can do it, and some are stable and some aren't. And so learning more about that probably helps be able to target antibodies or to make escapes more costly, so escaping detection by random mutations. All right, and then finally, there's a deep learning based score to evaluate multiple sequence alignment. So MSL, multiple sequence alignment, is a big thing in bioinformatics. However, some of the methods to sort of compare them aren't, I guess, what they could be, and so they were developing a scoring function that integrates a collection of multiple sequence alignment features. All right, with that, let's switch over to one of our tools. We have one thing here, the December 2025 Top 40 New CRAN Packages by Joseph Rickert. Always very interesting. Some ones that I kind of liked was COGI under causal inference, a simple interface to build structure and examine causal relationships. I also thought AMBR, looking at a marine biotic index. There was, under statistics, dictionary, functions to create and evaluate probability distribution objects from different families. Let's see here. Under, I believe, genetics, there's G-pyramid, functions to identify efficient crossing schemes for gene pyramiding, but then also phylospatial, functions to analyze spatial phylogenetic diversity patterns. And then under, I believe it's utilities, there was SVG edit, so functions to edit SV scalable vector, I think, graphic files, SVG files, created in Inkscape. All right, some new CRAN packages from sort of this month you might be of interest in is regex table, pattern-based text extraction and standardization with lookup tables. There's fru, a blazingly fast implementation of a random forest, and finally marine predator algorithm. Closing our time here, we have one grant from NIH, pilot project enhancing utility and usage of common fund datasets. This is an R03 clinical trial not allowed. The NOFO is to announce funding to demonstrate and enhance the utility of selected common fund datasets, including generating hypotheses and catalyzing discoveries. So I think that might be of interest and definitely be able to reuse more data that's already available. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me for Science Research Weekly, and as always, science on.